The Alpha Kappa Alpha story. Learn more right after this.
Do you have a problem with your friends driving recklessly? With your friends endangering your life? I'm here to tell you that reckless driving is the #1 cause of teenage deaths. But with new and improved Slow Down, you don't have to die.
He's right. We should slow down.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Kim, pay attention.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg, how are you?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm on.
No.
Help me.
Just grab me.
Oh, we're just doing, okay. See, I'm just lost.
We have a great show today, though.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm looking forward to it. And I think this is going to be one of those shows where we won't have a whole lot to do. I just have that feeling.
No, it's one of those shows we can just kind of just let our guests take over, you know, and we just go with
Now,
it.
when you say take over, you mean just today's show and not like the entire show, right? Because
yeah,
I can see that happening.
Yeah, it really could.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk today about the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And they're celebrating 100 years.
100
and so
years.
we have some members with the local chapter here from Rome, who are some prominent people, do a lot in the community. And we're going to talk a little bit about their history as an organization and what they're doing here in Rome.
And our guests are going to be Lady Stevenson, Henrice Berrien, Mary Ann Callens, and Sylvia Morgan. And I'd be afraid of what might happen if we had more than two on at once. So we're going to have two of those very remarkable women on with us first, right after this break. And we want to give them as much time as possible. So please stay with us. We'll be right back with our first two guests after this.
'60-inch screen, high definition. Football season is coming up. You can watch it right here. What do you think?
I'll take it.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You're right. I don't need it.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very pleased to have with us today Mary Ann Callens and Sylvia Morgan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to a show dedicated to AKA and the 100-year anniversary of that organization. I believe you were going to help explain to us some of the beginnings of the sorority and some of the initial history of that group. Is that correct?
Yes, we will.
So,
Who are the AKA?
We are college graduates, and most of us went over while we were in college, and then we, as adults, we call ourselves a graduate group. We carry on some of the same ideals that we had, that the vision and dream of our founders.
Now, celebrating 100 years, so that takes us back to 1908.
Yes.
So how did that come about? What created that situation? What was the need for the AKAs, and how did that come about?
Founded on the campus of Howard Washington in Washington, D.C. in 1908, Alpha Kappa Alpha was founded. It is the oldest African-American Greek letter organization, and it was founded by college-trained women. These women saw the foresight and saw the need and the leadership that felt with the gifts that they had been given, they wanted to share those gifts back into their own communities. They realized they were only one generation away removed from slavery. And they kept that picture in mind, but also looking toward the future as to what we can do in our community to help young girls. As the sorority grew, it kept in balance two important things: the importance of the individual and the strength of an organization of women of enormous abilities to make a tremendous impact on the local, the state, the national, and international level. This is where Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated stands today. It has taken that vision from the past. We're now honoring and celebrating that past as we do in our future. Alpha Kappa Alpha's influence extends beyond just the college campuses. It is global. And the programs and the activities have been designed to uplift not only young women, but young men as well.
Well, I'm curious about those early years, and how many women were in the founding group, and what sort of activities did they dedicate themselves to in those early years? Because that was a very difficult time, early 20th century. Very challenging time, I would think.
Well, led by Ethel Hedgeman Lau, there were 9 Howard University students who came together.
So it started with 9 women?
It started with 9.
Well, then considering that it started with 9 and has lasted so long and meant so much.
They were all scholastic leaders of their class, and they all had a deep devotion of wanting to serve the community.
So yeah, I guess you could say they had a take charge kind of spirit.
Yes.
Just like y'all had that kind of, so I guess that still goes on today, because y'all came and just took over the studio.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So I guess that still is going on today, huh?
Y'all must have been here all day.
Yeah,
No?
No.
So they just work fast.
Yes.
They're very fast.
So 1908, 9 women on Howard University has the vision to recognize, we are gifted. We have to do something to contribute to our community, and so then that's how we come to AKA.
It was all about serving mankind.
Now, that founding group, the community that they served, was that the Washington D.C. community, or did they go out?
They also went back into their own hometowns, because after 1908, the sorority was also established in Illinois, Indianapolis, and other places. So the group took off like in the early 1920s.
Well, I'm very impressed with any organization that can last more than a year or two, actually, but 100 years is just amazing to me.
Now, so that's kind of y'all national and international history.
Right.
So basically y'all everywhere.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the Rome chapter, because I just learned today a term called golden, and in my readings, and currently y'all have golden members here in Rome. So how did the Rome chapter come about?
This chapter was established in May 27, 1967. And what happened, I remember working at Main High and meeting Miss Stevenson and Miss Barron, and they were so happy to find out that I was an AKA that they said, oh, we got enough, we're going to have enough to start a chapter.
3?
No, it was others, but these were the 2 women that I met right away. You're going to probably hear some names that you know of the other women that was involved. So in 1965, we formed a group called the Alpharettes, and we started about doing community projects and demonstrating that a local chapter could carry on all of the programs of the national organization. So we were chartered in
1967,
and some of the women that were chartered members were
for a second, I think we have a picture of some
sure,
of your chartered members. Because some people may recognize some of them.
Okay.
Yeah. But who were and he'll bring it up, but go ahead, who were the chartered members?
Miss Kenzada Sams, Miss Patricia Randall, Mary Callens, Miss Henry Sperrin, Fanny Scott, Miss Frida Dawson, Miss Myrtle Jones, Miss Marilyn Jones Arrington, Miss Fanny Wright, Miss Laney Stevenson, Miss Almania Stevenson, Miss Yvonne Williams, Miss Theodore Downs, Miriam Arnold, Miss Mary Carruthers Shaw, and Miss Opal Irving.
Okay.
So
There were 16 of us.
the local chapter is named.
Theta Omicron Omega.
Okay. How do you decide on a name?
Your name is actually
Is it given
at
to
the
you?
boule. It's given to you
Oh, okay.
nationally
I
because
see.
you have to follow the Greek alphabet. And
Okay.
then on a graduate chapter, you're always in with Omega.
See, I just knew we was going to learn a lot today.
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost always the
Yeah.
case.
The undergraduate that's located on college would just be an undergraduate chapter with.
So you were chartered in 1967, 1967 about 8 sorors. And so what was those early years like? Because now we're talking Rome that was had its own issues. So you talking, what was it like for y'all in the early years? I'm quite sure y'all feel like y'all had a lot of work that could be done here in Rome at that time.
Oh, we did. And Miss Barron and Miss Stevenson will bring you up to about the projects that we did. We can talk about some, but they will tell you about a lot of the projects because we worked with Blaylock Nursery, the Girls Club, NAACP, just a number of organizations that we did work with, and they can bring you up to date on all of the things that we did do at that time.
Well, before we get to this sort of current situation, I'm very curious about what the national chapter was involved in over the course of, I mean, they existed over the entire century, almost. And I'm just curious about some of the missions or events or that they were involved in throughout the 20th century.
Well, in 1908, it was during the women's suffrage, and I think they had also a march on Washington that we will also do July the 17th in Washington.
This summer?
This summer,
Huh?
yes, at our national convention, which we call a boule.
Yeah.
And it's just that some of the same programs that we are now doing is just, I guess, what we call just elaborate, a little bit more elaborate than what they were doing back in 1908, because the vision and the dream we're keeping alive. We're still.
Two of their main focus of the national sorority was the reading, the emphasis of reading and education. This local chapter has always been involved in promoting reading and education. Another one of their targets was the emphasis of job work skills. Over 30 years ago, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority established a job work center where they could focus on job work skills. And so through the years, our focus has always been on education and preparation of young ladies and young men for the future.
And it's really to help them economically, socially, educationally, spiritually, and just to enhance their lives.
So really, when I hear you both speak, it just really takes me back to a time when I can remember stories where really the values of the African American community before desegregation, it was very family oriented, almost. If you was responsible for everybody, and it seems like y'all had a lot that theme runs consistently with a lot of organizations at that time. But AKA's clearly. I mean, I didn't realize y'all had been around for 100 years. I mean, that's an accomplishment,
Yes.
100 years. So, I mean, what does it mean? What kind of, the sense of pride that y'all must have to know that you belong to an organization with such a history, what is that like? Because I think a lot of our young listeners need to understand what it means to belong to something with that kind of history.
Well, we just feel like this is a really significant milestone in the history of our organization, and you got to be amazed to think that these ideals and dreams of these college women are still around to make a difference in the lives of others, and we feel really good about that it can exist. The same dreams and visions can exist for 100 years. And we look forward to the total centennial experience, our group here in Rome, because Sylvia and I together right here have over 83 years of service in the organization, and the 4 women, we have 190. There's
got to be a math problem in there somewhere.
Well, look here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and let him explain these 83 years. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Community Watch.
It's a great day, isn't it?
Yeah. Too bad your boat's gonna sink at 11:05.
Don't come closer. I have rabies.
Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, a simple blood test that helps measure your risk of a heart attack and other complications. Learn more at diabetesa1c.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and our show today is focusing on the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and their 100 years of service in the country. A birthday, a very special birthday. Our guests on this segment, Lainey Stevenson and Henrice Berrien, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Should we leave this up? Or
Yeah, let's
stay up there. I want to block you.
Oh, okay.
If y'all could help us a little bit with what has happened with the organization locally since it was founded. I guess it's about 40 years ago now.
Yes, a little over that.
That's very impressive. 41 years ago, when y'all were like maybe 1 or 2 years old.
Right. Actually, prior to our formal chartering, and we do consider ourselves pioneers, just as our national founders were pioneers. We were chartered in 1967, and prior to that, the year prior to that, we sponsored, in leading up to our chartering, a reading math camp, one of the first that I know of in the Rome area. And it was housed at Thankful Baptist Church. And we did this in conjunction with the local branch NAACP. Our reading math camp was somewhat of a forerunner to a program that we later established called Youth Empowerment Program that has run for several years. And this program had several different components, among which was our reading and math, of course, and leadership skills. We organized this group in an effort to help curb student dropout because of that time, and of course now we've had problems with that. And we also want to give students who need a certain amount of incentives to better themselves, to know that they could finish school and this kind of thing. So this was a main purpose for our youth empowerment program.
So this was in the early years of the chapter?
Early years of the chapter, very early years of the chapter. Eventually this led to what we call the STEP program, which was the Summer Tutorial Extravaganza program. And we wanted to help children who were about to finish high school prepare for SAT. And as an aside, we also had a teen talk show that was coordinated by one of the local members of the 100 Black Men in the person of Dr. Joshua Murphy. And this might be an interesting note. I attended a convention of the 100 Black Men with my husband, and this must have been in the 70s or so. And we had a handbook that we had put together for our youth empowerment program. And as I sat in one of the workshops, I happened to have had this particular handbook with me, so I pulled it out and I showed it to them. And they were amazed at the things we were doing. Dr. Joshua Murphy was there also. And when they saw the handbook, they sort of said to me, "How are y'all doing this?" And Dr. Murphy went on to say, "Hey, we've been doing it." And he mentioned to us later on, Mr. Shropshire that he thinks this was a shot in the arm that he needed, and he was eventually named national chairperson of their mentoring program. So we feel we were very instrumental in helping with that regard also.
He currently still is the mentoring chair
Yes.
of the national chair.
Yes, I understand that he is. And that was this was one of the handbooks
right there
that sort of got him there. They said, how did y'all do all of that? Well, here it is. Here it is.
right there.
And it's not only on print. We have tried to do that over the years. Well, we don't have the Youth Empowerment Program per se now, but we have other segments of it. For example, for the last 10 plus years, we've been doing an academic camp. And instead of just working with grades 7 through 12, we're now doing K through 12. And we do this in collaboration with Lovejoy Baptist Church, Thankful Baptist Church, and other organizations.
And that's in the summers?
Yes, we do that during the summers. And the Commission on Children and Youth have been very, very gracious in affording us grants to support the program.
Now, Ms. Barron, could you please explain to our audience, because when we left, we talked about some 83 years, and I know on this stage we have something, like 107 years. Could you please explain what that means? Because clearly, that's not, as Dr. Hirsch said, that's not adding up. So how is it y'all represent 107 years?
Well, we joined the sorority when we was in college, and I joined in 52. And so then Miss Stevenson joined, and so therefore we add up the number of years we've been in service. I've been a member 55 years, and she's been a member 52 years.
So this preceded the existence of the local chapter?
Yes. Yeah, we joined when we was undergrad. And then after we finished, as has already been said, we continue, and our motto is to serve mankind. So we continue what we had learned in undergrad. And some of the things we do is we work with math, reading, science, and writing skills. And we've had a family math, reading math once, and the parents really enjoyed it. The fathers came out and they worked with us, and they got to see really some of the weaknesses their children had. And then that made them understand now what they really need to do at home with them. So they really enjoyed it, and they really supported it too. And we also had computer workshops. And we had Derek Brown come up from Georgia Tech to show us some things when we had our lab.
So really, just trying to just conceive it, y'all have been working in this organization longer than I've been alive. I mean, y'all's dedication to the community. I mean, 50-something years to any one thing. That's a tremendous commitment. And to still be active. I mean, it's one thing to just belong to an organization, but to still be pushing forward those visions and goals some 50 years later. I mean.
But when you're out there in the community and you're working with people, you get a good feeling. And so that's what keeps us going, that there's always a need. And so not only do we work with children, we also work with the family. We've had, the children used to love to do their family trees, and then they bring the parents in, and the parents work with them. And so then we work with the registration drives and the census. And so we're getting in contact with the people and in the community, and that's what really that's our drive, working with the community to see the needs and do what we can do to help improve things.
I suppose that unlike many of the sororities of other groups, our service, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Services, extends beyond the college campus. We don't stop there. Ours is not a social organization. Ours is a service organization. And we do it with a commitment and a love for people. We want to help people, and that's what we have tried to do down through the years. And the trend of our founders continues even today. We'll continue to work with young people, and one of the things that I'm most proud of is the fact that not only do we reach out to girls, as we initially said, originally we were trying to help and alleviate some of the problems with girls, but now we're working with young men. And on a national level, we have adopted the 100 Black Men of America as partners to help with young men, because we know this is a very important thing for us to do.
We also have worked with Mr. Stevenson and with his group also.
Godfather Ministry.
Godfather Ministry.
Let's Godfather Ministry. Now, I have a question, because when I just think about, it's hard to find anything going on, especially within the African American community, that you don't find somebody from the AKAs involved at some level. Sometimes I don't think the community sometimes realize y'all heritage and legacy here in Rome. Is that because y'all are not the most modest people, but yet sometimes y'all story doesn't get told? Why is that, Ms. Stevenson?
I think maybe we are an humble group. We don't have to shout it, but we want to make people feel that if there's a need, that we're there to fill that need. And no, we don't proclaim it, and I think oftentimes we don't let people know what we're doing. But I think it's out of a deep sense of humility.
Now, Ms. Berry, now give me the real truth, because you'll call somebody in a minute and set them straight. So, but I want you to talk about, I really want y'all to talk about, because y'all got some stuff coming up. I know y'all have y'all debutante ball, and we're running out of time. So what are some of the things that are coming up now that people can still participate in or help or sponsor?
Okay, we do have the cotillion that's going to be held on March 25th. March 29th. Okay, it's going to be held at Georgia Highlands College, and we have several young people who will be participating in that program. And we have, down through the years, through our cotillion, our Lords and Ladies debutante presentation, presented thousands of dollars in scholarships, and we have some of these young people now who've come back into the community, or they've gone to other communities, and they're doing well. And we pride ourselves in having made a difference in some of their lives. Now, one of the most recent things that we did, and Siri Morgan alluded to this a few minutes ago, we participated in the Mau Angelou event a few months back. And from that participation, we had our young people in this community put together a book of poetry that we are really, really proud of. And of course, we had 4 winners. And Miss Morgan would like to comment on this just a little bit before we end the program, if that's at all possible.
We have a few seconds at the end to talk about that.
But because we're really running short, how can people contribute to the AKA? I mean, how, is there a number? Is it a page? How do people get in touch with the AKA if they want to make donations or they just want to learn more about y'all programs?
We have our ambassadors is Heather Barton, but any member of our sorority you may contact. It doesn't matter. Just let us know that you would like to be a part of something we're doing, and we welcome any help we can get from anyone. Now we're getting close to a commercial break, but what is one of the, if you just had it quickly, what is the one thing you would like people to know about the AKAs?
That we are available to render any service to help them in any way, to do whatever we can to better the community and to help adults as well as the children. That we're not just the children, we also interested in the families as well as the children, because if we can help the father and the mother, then we got the children going.
All right. Well, we need to take a break, but we'll be right back with more. Please stay with us.
The first step to getting into college is finding someone who can help. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
We want to thank our guests today and congratulate the AKAs on their 100-year anniversary. So many projects they're into, including this book of poetry, At Last Unleashed and Empowered, that Ms. Callens and Ms. Morgan especially have been working on. It's available, or will be, so speak to an AKA member about it if you're interested. And we appreciate them very much, and you, please tune in again next time on Community Watch.